Gate, if I were to look in this area, I think I would probably focus my efforts around the Star Spangled Banner, uh, the Francis Scott Key Monument in the park. And I will do this based upon a solve that I kind of came up with just using some of the information that I found that could support a solve in this area. The main thing is that I actually think you should use the verses that match the images. So, like the first verse, number one goes with number one image as they appear. And so that means you end up having the Fortress North, uh, cold as glass, friendship south, take your task to the number 982 verse available for you to use with this image, I believe. And so if you have that verse to use with this image, then I think we should try to see what we could come up with doing that. And so, in trying to or working to explain the 982, if you look at how the Golden Gate Park is designed, if you will, where it's located at. So, you have Fulton Street transversing one side of the park. And you have all of the numbered streets that would then terminate into the park. Well, Ninth Avenue doesn't go through. 10th Avenue takes you to John F. Kennedy Promenade, and 8th Avenue takes you into the park as one of the entrances. So let's just say that if you could indeed extend the task to the Ninth Avenue, the 982, if you will, you end up in the blue playground, if you will, somewhere in this area. Somewhere between Ninth or 8th and 10th Streets is where you're going to come in. And this is going to be your major entryway into the park uh, to get to the rest of the park on either the Music Concourse Drive or to get into the park on the Hagawara Tea Garden Drive. And if you notice the teapot in the image, and perhaps some of that musical instruments as well. But let's just say that you go back to 1982 and you're coming into the park and you do have a chance to come in at this place. You've got the Lindy in the Park here, and then you've got the Cervantes Monument, and then you're going to run into the Padre Junipero Sierra Monument, and you'll have the Bowl Drive, and then over here in front of the DeYoung Museum, you're going to have a pair of Sphinxes by Arthur Putnam. Now, these aren't the original Sphinxes, by the way. They're ones that have been put in the park later on. But that's where they were located during the Great Exposition, if you will. And so let's just try to work through this. Let's say you can explain the 982 in the park. Okay, let's just say you can say Fortress North, cold as glass, Friendship South, take your task to the number 982. Let's just say you can somehow get to the park. So through the wood, no lion fears. Well, why don't we've already had one appearance of the use of a centaur, a half man, half beast, used to solve a puzzle in Cleveland. Well, what if we're looking for a half man, half lion in this particular puzzle? Well, that's going to put you right on Hagawara Tea Garden Drive, where you have the lion statue, which is temporarily closed. Okay, so you've got the lion statue here that's right at basically the two sphinxes and a lion statue. Okay, so that takes you right to that point in the park. Okay, the next line in the poem then says, "In the sky the water veers." Well, if you are standing at the pair of sphinxes on a Hagawara Tea Garden, the next uh, instruction is that in the water, so you could see the fountains in the middle of this park, either the ride out fountain or the other fountain that's further to the uh, other direction. So you would be able to see these two. So small of scale step across, perspective should not be lost. So I think that what that means is you either need to not go down to the lower level of this park at this point in time, or you need to go down to the lower level of the park at this time. And so I don't know if this means that you then go to the steps on Hagawara Tea Garden Drive that takes you down to the ride out fountain, or whether it tells you need to walk over to the Bowl Drive and come down and approach from that manner. And now that they put this big old freaking Ferris wheel in the park, it makes it even more interesting. And when they had a riot out there for George Floyd, they tore down, they took down part of the Star Spangled uh, Banner monument. So the guy sitting in the chair is no longer there. And instead, they erected all these black, you can read about it. The people of San Francisco are basically ruining our history, taking away statues. They took down the one at Coit. They took down the Christopher Columbus statue at Coit. When are these just when are these people going to learn that the African Americans were actually sold into slavery by African kings in their home country? I just don't understand why that's not part of our American history. But anyway, so that's my editorial comment. But anyway, perspective should not be lost. So I don't know if that's a reference to the Star Spangled Banner and the flag standing atop the monument, uh, or what. But you could use the verse in the center of four like, small split, three winged and slight. What we take to be our strongest tower of delight falls gently in December night. So I don't know if this is a reference to the Star Spangled Banner. I don't know if this could be a reference to uh, the Anacron song. Uh, I don't know if it could be a reference to something at Fort McHenry. Uh, but the fact that they use the word split makes me think that they're trying to reference Bowl Drive, as in this is a bowling reference, if you will, and perhaps that's what they were trying to bring in here. But let's just say you go from the lion statue, uh, where you have the wood that no lion fears. You've seen the fountains below. Uh, Looking back from Treasure Ground, there's the spout. A whistle sounds. So I've been trying to figure out exactly how I can implement this into uh, the puzzle. The fact that there's a Phoebe Apperson Hearst Memorial is helpful in here because there's a lot of information in the back of the book about Citizen Kane. There's a lot of information in the back of the book about Patty Hearst, uh, and our involvement in a few things. So I don't know if we need to go over in the direction of that. Uh, but we've got the forest. See, the forest that the lion does not fear is all of these, this whole forested, this whole entire bottom area around the fountain has all these trees planted. Now, I can't confirm for a fact these trees were there back in 1982. But you've got at the other end, obviously, you've got the music concourse. Uh, and so I'm focusing on this area. If you go back and look at where there's uh, a point here on the map that's, let me go back to the layers. So you got the Padre Juniper Sierra monument, and he's carrying a cross. And so I don't know if this is your step across the Padre Juniper monument where the guy is, carrying a cross. But if it is, you've got the cross right there, in the Padre Junipero Serra monument. So that could be a step across point. In the back of the book, you do have some bowls in there, if you will, the Tupperware bowl, etc. Uh, I don't know when the apple cider press statue was put into the park. But in the back of the book, they talk about Johnny Appleseed, and if that is anywhere trying to get you to uh, this apple cider apple press monument, uh, and I don't know if it reflects anything in the background of the image or can be seen in any way. And I haven't been able to find the dedication on that one and when it was put in place. It says 1892, I think, at the bottom. Oh, sorry, 1894. So it says this one was something by the executive committee of the California Midwinter International Exposition, 1894. So I guess that barrel of the guy pressing the cider has been a feature of the park for quite some time. Uh, and if you look at that bucket and you look at the spout, so basically what you have is you've got the apple cider press statue, and you've got this guy pressing a wood barrel. And in the back of the book, you have a reference to, um, in the very first section of this book, you have a reference to a group of people in a basket that's a wooden basket sitting on a pedestal. I'm looking at page 65 at this point. So on page 65, you have this barrel, wooden basket, if you will, that's got two straps around it, sitting on a pedestal base. And here you have this um, uh, monument that was put in the park based upon the exposition. And basically, we have a cider press where he's pressing on this, and at the bottom of it, you have the bucket, the little round bucket in which the cider is going to come out of. And so maybe if that's the spout, looking back from Treasure Ground, there's the spout. A whistle sounds. And I don't know if this guy's whistling while he works, if there's any indication of whistling here. Um, Certainly, the turning of the crank in order to press the cider out of the apples would be interesting. And I don't know if there's any additional detail there, but um, I like the idea that this statue's been around a while. I like the idea that there's a spout involved. Um, there's really not a spout over on the Hearst, on the Patty Hearst. I don't think there's an actual like a spout or anything. And it says in memory of Phoebe Apperson Hearst from her friends. And again, this one, is a kind of a round based one. But I like the fact that the front of the book actually has the reference to a press, and it occurs fairly early on in the book where I think they're talking about potentially some information about a solve that would be in California. And so that's probably my best evidence from the back of the book of a wooden barrel being filled from a spout. Um, and if you go back to looking at the other one is the other one's on a round base. I like that one because it's on a square base, if you will. And so the apple cider press would simply be a solution where you would go to the lion statue, uh, and from the lion statue you would then simply head towards the apple press. And if you had to go down to you would be between the Star Spangled Banner and the first fountain, if you will. Well, let's just look at the layers here. So if you go to the cider apple press where it's currently located, um, and you go down to a street view, and you get on the lower level concourse here. I think there's a decent picture at this circle at the little thing. And so you've got the tunnel that comes through. And above that tunnel, the interesting thing is if you look at the very front of the book and you look at the railing that's shown way early in the book, it's similar to that that railing that's right there um, above that opening into the lower level concourse. But if you go down here and you take a picture and you look back towards where that cider press is, there is one of these huge trees, right? And if you look at you look at the guy from the back, and I don't know if there's anything in the back of the book that looks like that, but now that I'm thinking about the tribute, the part of the back and the tribute kind of looks like that guy. But anyway, I would say that you know, there's there's an area there that's got these, uh, I don't know, these rock formations, and I don't know if this is where this guy has been forever. But I like that spout opportunity coming out of there. And then if you uh, go over here, you could see the um, Star Spangled Banner one, which I think has something to do with it. Because if you look at that, you've got the four, and then on top of this, you've got these birds, and it says, or the land of the free, in truth be free, if you will. And I've been looking at that, trying to find a 982 on it or anything that could give me further credence that this is what I need to be looking at. But there could just be, it looks like there's a vase or something engraved in the bottom of this, like it's a place to put water, or there's a spout. So there looks like there's a vase here in this image of the Star Spangled Banner monument, where if you open, there's a like a flask design, and you could have a spout there where you could be pouring out of a spout. Um, Let me get back over to the other side and see if that. So that's only going to that appearance of that vase on that monument only appears on the side, I guess, facing the entry to the park, maybe. Um, so, like I said, the monumental reckoning has been wrecked by some people who have put up these black sculptures around it. But if you like the idea of that, oh, I got the same view. I got the same view from the same side. Um, but that vase that you could pour something out of only occurs on the entry side going into the park. And I don't know if it's got Roman numerals there that show the numbers 9 and 8 and 2 or not. But anyway, um, so that could, get you over to that. But I think there's several good ideas here in this park that could lead you to maybe getting closer to boots on the ground. And as I look through the back of the book, I maybe find more things that could play into this. But the more I look at these people in this basket sitting on the pedestal, the more I actually and since it's got the searchlights and it's that would be our Tower of Delight, um, the searchlight. I just need to get a whistle. I just need to get a whistle in here somewhere, and I don't know where I pick up my whistle. I mean, obviously, um, you can go by a trolley whistle or something like that. But uh, anyway, or maybe you're supposed to just whistle the Star Spangled Banner song, the Anakin song. I don't know. Um, so you can look at the Preiss Sphinxes, uh, the historical data uh, marker database helps a little bit. Like I said, that bowling pin design entryway above the the park. I don't know how long those have been there. I didn't realize, but you can actually walk down from the Hagara Tea Garden Drive, and you can actually walk down and get to the lower level with a set of staircase. Oh, they got that blocked off. They've actually got a fence around that. But at one time, it looks like you could have walked actually down some steps and gotten to that lower level. It'd be interesting to know what's in that tunnel, if you will. Um, but going back here and looking at the two sphinxes, uh, looking at those features. So this, I guess so there is an actual lion sitting on let's say a rock over here, and it's just not more than, I don't know, 50 yards from not 50 yards, 50 feet at the most from the two sphinxes. So that's kind of interesting. It looks like there's a big dead tree right here where you enter the park. It's not quite dead, but anyway. All right. Well, what else do I have? If I have anything else, I'll mention it. I looked up the anachronic song, uh, Defense of Fort McHenry. I looked that up. Uh, I'm pretty sure that the Young Museum was built after 1982 in its current form, but if it wasn't, if the DeYoung Museum was built in 1982, then that could be your 982. So the DeYoung Museum, formerly the H.E. DeYoung Memorial Museum, uh, okay, so the museum opened in 1895. Okay, well, when did the building that's there open? When did that? When did that other building that's next to these two uh, statues open? That's the question. In 1970, the American Arts Collection was transformed by John Rockefeller and Blanche Hooker Rockefeller. Here's a reference to Rockefeller flower. In 78, the American Art Collections were transformed by the decision of Rockefeller to donate their renowned collection of 110 paintings, 29 drawings, and 2 sculptures to the Fine Arts Museum in San Francisco. The DeYoung's Chronicle Survey of American Art includes galleries devoted to different things. I'm wanting to know when the building opened. The one that's right in front of these. I know you're yelling at my screen right now. Um, the current building was completed by architects and it opened on October 15th of 2005. So yeah, the like I said, the current building in its current iteration opened, you know, long since the park. So anyway, what else? I tried to look up this Cervantes statue, and if I got the right guy, he's basically the guy that wrote Don Quixote. And Don Quixote is about a water. So, okay, here's a reason you could go look around the Miguel de Cervantes uh, uh, statue, if this is the right guy. If he wrote Don Quixote, which was about windmills, then theoretically you could have a spout coming out of the windmill. Uh, and I don't know where the whistling. Did Don Quixote? Did Don Quixote whistle? There's a good question. Uh, uh, okay, let's ask Googly if did Don whistle? So here it says in the story of Don Quixote de La Mancha, chapter 1, it says, uh, oh, where is this at? Jesus, I gotta go back. It says, in the meantime, there came to the inn a cow doctor who, as soon as he arrived, sounded his whistle of reeds 4 or 5 times, which entirely confirmed Don something. There's also a reference to a song or to Don Quixote. Uh, Don Quixote, you may go whistle for the rest. So here's the context. Sancho, in his efforts to prevent his master from going to investigate the noise made by a fulling mill, where the hammers are pounding clay into the cloth to stiffen it, tells how a goat herd tires of his courting of a shepherdess. His new coolness inflames her, and he has to flee from her with his flock. At a river, there's a small boat with the capacity of an oarsman and one goat. So the goat herder takes one across, returns for the other, and another. Then Sancho passes to ask Don Quixote, quote, how many goats are got over already? Nay, how the devil can I tell? Replied Don Quixote. There it is, quoth Sancho. Did I not bid you keep count? On my word, the tale is at the end, and now you may go whistle for the rest. Oh, I hate it when I find another confirmation that puts me in a different part of the park. But let's just say you have to go to those statues, and then you go over to the Cervantes a statue in the park. Well, let's go look at it a little bit closer. Um, so looking back at, let's see, we gotta go over here. So the Cervantes is over here in the corner. So you go, okay. So if you would go from the let's say the lion that the wood that no lion fears, you would just simply have to go past this funky looking dead tree across the bridge over to the Cervantes monument right here on the tea garden, and because it's right on so there's 13 photos here on the wiki of this, and I don't know if anything, but here you have all these rocks. You have this rock appearance thing, and I don't know how long. And remember all those damn shoes that are in the fucking trees, and we can't figure out why there's so many. And look at the red bloomers on this guy. It's almost like the red bloomers in that swollen red bloomer that guy has in the Florida. And maybe I'm at the Fountain of Youth. I'm at the Fountain of Youth. Found it. Anyway, so he's got the same stylistic period Spanish stuff on there. And so anyway, you've got this. I don't know how long this thing's been sitting here either, but it's got a backdrop of a couple of trees, and then you've got the guy's head sitting on top of it, with his beard and his eyes. That beard kind of looks like the whole. That beard kind of looks like the whole entire background of the painting, honestly. But I don't know how long this has been sitting in this current location either. But you've got this, and you get the triangle. Every time I find a little triangle like that, I kind of like it. But he's not facing the water. The people in the image below aren't looking anywhere towards any of the fountains from this vantage point. So I just don't know. Well, I got a doctor's appointment at 1 o'clock, so I got to get going. I got a doctor's appointment. I'm in the back of the book. So I got to get going. So, hey, Jeff, how's it going? He whistled to Sancho Panjaz. Get your ass over here, LOL. Yes, him and Sancho whistled. Honestly, I really hate it when I make a connection like that without further research. But if you really think it's in this park, I mean, I don't know why you would focus on any other part of the park, but over in this general area, because it's where the Ninth Street comes in. I think I'm using the right verse for this, and I just think that it's all right here in front of us. We're just not seeing it. I just think it's all right here in front of us, but we just can't. We don't see it. And I'm just flipping through the images in the back, trying to get a good feel for this again. But if you look at the backyard barber creep a little bit, he's kind of in an area like this. Some of these images are just easier to figure out than others. But this whole hot tub pool thing's been kind of getting at me for a while. And So, and I'm pretty sure that goes with the West Ghost. Um, but oh, Jeff, you shoving off? All right. Well, I got a neuropathy study at 1 o'clock. I got to fill out some paperwork, take a shower. So I guess I'm going to get going. Thanks for joining in today. I hope this presentation finds you well. Uh, and we will chat later on. I got a couple things to do today, so I got to get out there, get them done. All right. Good day.